literally went from being a millionaire down to zero in a few weeks. Psychology, quantum physics, neuroscience, epigenetics, to figure a way to change the codes in the subconscious of my children. The blind spot was you cannot be wealthy and have real friends. Changing habits takes 28 days. No, it doesn't. You won't change it unless you go into the subconscious. And when you talk about firsts, one of the games that I'm playing is what wouldn't Anna do today? Anything that happens after the age of 7 is what we call confirmation bias. The reason why they are successful, it actually comes from trauma.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to this episode of Many Firsts, the podcast where we explore the power of first-time experiences and share transformative and inspirational moments in our lives. I'm your host, Regula Fischer, and I'm super excited to be here today, live in the studio with Anna Berger. Welcome, Anna.
Hi, Reggie. So nice to see you. I'm really excited about this.
Yeah, I'm super happy you are here. We are sitting here together after being in touch for a bit, mostly not in person. How has your day been so far?
It's been brilliant, but that's my default thing. I always say I'm brilliant.
It's always brilliant. Yeah, we always have a default answer, I think, to this question, right? So
that's it. But my work is to deal with the subconscious mind, and subconscious mind listens to you all the time. So if you say I'm brilliant, just realigns.
Yeah, I see where you're going with that. Yeah, you are actually an expert on the subconscious mind, also known as the subconscious whisperer. You're also a best-selling author and the founder of the Quantum Mind Academy, and you help people overcome self-sabotage and reinvent themselves. So that reinventing oneself topic, I would like to start with you, if that's okay for you. Where did that topic become a topic for you, reinventing yourself?
Wow. I think we all go through life and in general, people just go through different experiences in their life, and sometimes they become parents, and then it's a different type of life, right? And then you go through, you've got your work balance or the work that you do, and it's just a way of creating yourself within that environment. But my biggest shift to actually even work with this concept with the subconscious mind to start with came as a result of losing a massive company. I used to in my background I used to run a huge construction company. Mm-hmm. So it was a totally different environment. I was in a very masculine energy, and it was a really, really big company. We built about 4,500 homes. And one day I've attracted a lawyer who decided to wipe me out, decided to steal money. And I just literally went from being a millionaire down to zero in a few weeks. And, when I started building the business, which started from zero at the age of 23, I had a really good mindset because I went to all the personal development and, resilience and walk on fire, and I can take it on, I can take on the world. And I always thought that, I had my mind already pretty fixed up, pretty well set up for success. Mm-hmm. So when that happened, the first thing that I did was, how did I attract this into my life? Okay, so rather than, I was smart enough to, rather than think, okay, let's fight this. I mean, obviously there was, a thing that had to be done. But the inward question of how did I attract this? Okay, the law of attraction, how things, like the beliefs create reality. And this was just totally blindsided. And I thought, okay, how did I, what is it in my belief that created this? And that inquiry, I literally had to pull kids out of private schools because I couldn't afford it anymore, and take them out of the beautiful homes that we had. And I asked the question, how do you tell children, you're going to sell your ponies, you're going to lose your friends at school? So I said, how do I turn this into an adventure? So I said to the kids, hey, you want to go on an adventure? They're 7 and 8 years old. And they're like, yeah, adventure. So we ended up going and traveling for a little while, car in a caravan or travel trailer in America. And we traveled for 2 years. And I used that time to really inquire within and go, okay, what did I not see in my mind that created this? And I started studying this more and more in depth. And discovered this thing about subconscious mind. Now, I've heard the words before, but I had no idea the power of it. And then when I've discovered the power of it, which is our thinking mind, it's sort of like a bicycle. Okay. So most of the things that we learning, the 10 steps to this and 10 steps to that, we're doing it with our conscious mind. The subconscious underneath, it's like a self-learning computer, and it's the power of a bullet train. So you've got conscious mind and subconscious. And I'm like, why don't people know about this? This is so powerful. And so from that, then I've realized, hold on, that subconscious gets coded within the first 7 years of your life. So it literally sets your character for life. So initially it was like, doing research in regards to what is in my mind. But then I turn around and I go, I got young children. I wasn't at home because I had a big construction company. I was busy. What did I do to my kids that need recoding? They need changing in the mind. And I got obsessed. So the same way that I built the business of construction from zero to probably $250 million, I turned the same model into obsession and learning about surrounding myself by the best experts and learning fast. So anything from psychology, quantum physics, neuroscience, epigenetics, hypnotherapy, like probably 50 different modalities to figure a way to change the codes in the subconscious coding of my children. And then once I discovered that, I connected the dots and go, wow, this really works. And that really helped me with, I became a business coach. So I worked with a lot of millionaires. Initially, they were hiring me to help them build a business, the kind of business that I had before. But from that, it was just a matter of, okay, the business, you already built a big business. You understand how it works. What's not working is the subconscious codes in your subconscious mind. That's why you have a ceiling. So I was working with that. Anyway, you get me talking on the subject. I can talk for 2 weeks without taking a breath.
So. I love the energy about it. It's definitely the energy of what did you call the train of the subconscious
bullet
mind?
Train.
The bullet train.
The bullet train. That's
the bullet train power.
It's powerful.
I'm so curious about many things. So did you find an answer to your question? Yes. What was the blind spot?
Yeah. The blind. This was interesting because the blind spot was you cannot be wealthy and have real friends.
Oh, wow.
I didn't know I had that belief, and I didn't know it because I wasn't wealthy when I started this whole journey. So you wouldn't have known. So it's something that trips you over later on in life.
Yeah.
So when I've discovered that, I'm like, okay, what else do I have in my subconscious that's going to trip me over later? I don't want to start another business. I don't want to start another venture and then find out that there is tripping points. Okay. So this is what got me really intrigued about, can you search the subconscious mind the same way you do business plans? When a business grows from small to big, eventually you're going to have tripping points because once you're growing, you need to expand, you need to allow different things to be able to expand. Same thing with mind. When you're growing in any direction, if you want to live your full potential, there are going to be tripping points. Find those tripping points before you start. Just like with business, you'll prepare the business for the huge growth if you start thinking from the end and reverse engineer that. So that's exactly what I've done. And I've literally developed over the last 16 years, developed a way of searching for the subconscious mind to find all the error codes that somebody's dealing with.
That's blowing my mind because I was just, I'm asking myself, so the subconscious is so subconscious. I mean, how do we go there, and can we really go there? Can you share your
Have you ever played with ChatGPT?
Yes.
All right, cool.
Yeah.
So I'll use this analogy, right?
My best buddy now. No.
That's it. Yeah, right. Everybody gets excited about AI, but what we don't realize is each one of us has probably the most incredible, the most amazing AI system within us, and that's the subconscious mind. It's so much more powerful than ChatGPT. So using the analogy of ChatGPT, if you put in input, okay, and say, okay, just pretend you're a lawyer and write me a letter, blah, 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 right? Yeah. ChatGPT stands for chat-generated pre-trained transformer. So whatever you put in, it just transforms into this, okay? So you want it to be a lawyer? Sure. It's not going to say to you, I'm not a lawyer. It's not going to say, you haven't actually gone through legal school. All it's going to do is go, okay, I'm just going to, this is called law of assumption.
Yeah.
So it's going to assume, okay, I'm going to be a lawyer. I'm going to create this letter for you. Subconscious does exactly the same thing. So the second you were conceived, you came in with not just a little body that grows into a big human. But you also came in with a self-learning computer. Okay, exactly the same model. In fact, ChatGPT was designed, or most of the AI is designed on human mind. So ChatGPT, okay, the only thing is the power of your mind is so much more powerful because it's not just a chat. It relies on the 5 senses. So from the second you're conceived, anything that you see, hear, feel, smell, and touch. In fact, as a child, the mind for the first 7 years is on hypnosis. The brain vibration is on theta, which is exactly the same as hypnosis. There is no, I am not a lawyer. I'm not going to be able to write a letter, okay? There's no filter in there. Yeah. So the child will literally, anybody that walks past for the first 7 years, it's like ChatGPT that's open for 7 years, and anyone that says anything to the child will get coded and create. So for 7 years, from a second conception, then born, 7 years, you are just absorbing. At the end of 7 years, somebody press play and say, and here's Reggie. Here's your character. Okay, so you know the saying, beliefs create your reality, or your beliefs create your. I mean, you know, we all heard that. I sort of questioned it a little bit because they were never your beliefs to start with. None of them. But after year 7, your mind, the conscious mind, which is the bicycle, the slower one, all it does is simply wants to make you right. So it proves it to be correct. So whatever you already have in your code, all it does is goes and fetches you experiences that prove it to be correct. So my belief of you can be wealthy and have real friends came from somewhere in the 7 years. Somebody just dumped it in, right? I didn't know it existed. And, you know, I was pretty successful in business. I was go-getter, overachiever, and I had beautiful lifestyle, but I didn't know I had that belief. And the ability of actually going back into it and searching through the subconscious and say, okay, how would we search? So the way that we do it is we'll literally go through from the second you were born or even before you were born, parents and siblings, analyze your whole life and see what are the things, like obviously there are successes and different wonderful things that we've been able to experience, but there are also things that have not worked because subconscious controls everything, your health, your whole biology, right? So if you had a cold 3 weeks ago, it's not a coincidence. It's in a subconscious mind. If there is, doctors talk about, generational, let's say, for example, your parents had something and because of DNA, it's going to be carried on. Subconscious just copy paste. If your parents were going through stress when you were little, copy, paste into your subconscious mind. Even to the point where you've got, let's say a little child is running around and parents are busy, and then child falls over and parents stop and say, "You okay, Reggie? Okay, come here, give you a hug." Okay, little Reggie's going to learn, not you as a conscious being, but your subconscious mind, your computer's going to learn that is the way to get love. Yes. And the more child has experienced that, and that could be a loving family. I'm not saying that there is a trauma involved, right? It's a little too trauma for the subconscious. It doesn't care. So it just simply codes it in that that's the only way. If I get stressed, all I have to do is get sick and that's what's going to happen. So any sicknesses in your life, yes, there's medicine that can fix it, but they're only dealing with with the actual effect. They are not dealing with what's causing it. And it's the subconscious that will be bringing the experiences to prove you to be correct.
So basically what you're saying about the cold, I mean, it's fascinating. I'm trying to keep up here with my conscious mind, I guess. Well, I hope the subconscious is supporting me in any way. The cold, so that you're basically saying if I get a cold, it's a program that makes me get something, right? Like in some way a benefit, I would guess, right? Is it mostly that it should be beneficial to us? So I'm very curious now what you were able to recode in your children. Did you see?
Do you know on average when we do search for any human being, well-functional human being, we find anywhere between 300 to 600 error codes. Wow. Okay, so it's not just one thing. This is why if you just simply, something happens in your life and you think, okay, I'm just going to go and work on this problem. And you try to think yourself out of it. So you go to, 10 steps to this and read another book, go to another seminar.
Mm-hmm.
All you're dealing is with a conscious mind.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Bicycle, bullet train,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
right? So to be able to fix it on that, this is why people say changing habits takes 28 days. No, it doesn't. You won't change it unless you go into the subconscious. On the subconscious, you can change it like this. So, one of the biggest things that I, with my own children that I had to work on was to change it is actually quite easy once you know what it is, right? But the things that I didn't realize that they had is being a very busy parent. And again, they had ponies, they had beautiful lifestyle. There was lots of love, lots of vacations and holidays and fun. But if you're not there, physically present, it's an abandonment for a child. A child doesn't understand that you have to go to work. So it's suddenly a parent's leaving. So what actually happens is, right at the beginning, subconscious goes, okay, what does love equal to on planet Earth, right? And if the computer sees that the parent is not available, so they actually physically miss you, that's what's going to get coded, that love equals missing somebody. That stuffs up your relationships in the future, doesn't it? Wow. Does that hit home? Right. So if love equals missing somebody, you will never get into a relationship where it's a really beautiful relationship where the people are together. No, you will be literally pushing them away so you can miss them. So if they get too close, that's the avoidance in psychology is known as the avoidant attachment. It's just simply, no, I need to push you away so I can miss you. That's when I'm going to love you. So it just pushes people away. Or anyway, it just have lots and lots of different complications later on.
Well, but it also for you as a parent now that you know and have this, let me call it superpower. That it comes with responsibility also.
Oh,
right?
yes.
Yeah.
You know what? It's funny. I always say that I wish all the parents had to get a license to become a parent and actually do this kind of training before they have children, right? Now, most people don't know it exists, and most people don't even know that the power of the subconscious mind. But, to become a hairdresser, you need to go
subconscious, right? That's probably why. But yeah.
That's right. But to become a hairdresser, you need a license. You need to go through school.
Yeah.
But to have children, you don't. And I think that is so important to actually understand. I mean, a lot of students that come in and who are parents, they usually go, oh my God, what have I done to my kids? How do you say this? Because you're dealing with a computer, anything that you might say incorrectly. And, like another thing, I was one of those parents that's like, no blood, no tears. It's like, come on, you can do it, right? You can do it. So it's an encouragement, but in a way that's, like if you were talking to let's say teenagers or adults, if you say, come on, you can do better than that, it's a motivation. For a child that's in hypnosis, no, I'm not good enough. I have to jump hoops in order to be loved, right? So that's how overachievers are created, by the way. In fact, a lot of extremely successful people that I've worked with in business, the reason why they are successful, it actually comes from trauma. The overachievement comes from, and again, when I say trauma, I don't mean trauma with typical capital T, that something has happened. Sometimes, yes. But in most cases, it's a little, with a little t that goes under the radar. And that is when a child, for example, really wants to be loved, because that's all they are, pure love, right? And the parent's too busy. So they will jump and they will try to do different things. And when they get that love, then they become codependent because they go, okay, if I jump enough, if I'm going to be the people pleaser, I'm going to get loved. Okay, so all the people that usually fall into the category of people pleasers are the ones that got love occasionally, right? Well, sometimes a lot, but they know that they have to jump. But those ones that kept on jumping up and jumping up and jumping up and they couldn't do it, eventually subconscious gets to the point, stuff it. I'm just going to become self-sufficient. I don't need love. And they go into self-sufficiency. The more self-sufficient they are, the more traumatic experience they've experienced in childhood that they don't even remember. Okay, but it's like, I can't rely on anybody. I have to survive on my own. So subconscious goes into, or the mode of the computer goes into self-sufficiency. And it's like, I can do it on my own. And that's why, like when I work with women in business, they have masculine energy. Because it's like, I got to do it on my own. Take on the world on my own. So anyway,
no,
I hope that
please.
answers your question.
Did you just say sorry? No, I love it. I'm like, so as you said, you would go with a person that would like to find out what codes are in there that may not be helpful or not anymore. So you're saying you're going into the first 7 years. Would that then be based on memory or
no?
Would that...
So the thing is, sometimes subconscious will sometimes not let you remember things. Okay, if they were too traumatic, so they will not let you remember. But you can still see after the year 7. There are filters, psychological filters that come in because now we're dealing with a bicycle, super slow, right?
Yeah, I like bicycle, but okay. I also like trains, okay.
No, but you know what I mean? Like the power is different. So you have to,
yeah.
So the information that you're taking from outside into the mind, it slows it down because you got to filter it through a processor that's much slower than your subconscious mind. So the only thing that subconscious will be looking for is things that you already know. So it's like, if I already know that I'm not good enough, I'm just going to look for experiences. They're going to prove it to be correct. Like subconscious doesn't know whether it's doing the right thing by you or not. There's no filter, right? It just simply knows that that's what's got coded. That's what it needs to make you right constantly. Yeah. So let's say, for example, if somebody thinks that they are not beautiful, right? If somebody gives you a compliment and it doesn't fit your subconscious mind because that's not what your code is, you will literally reject it. You will say, first of all, you'll go, no. So, you know, those people that don't like compliments, okay, that's because it doesn't match the subconscious mind. So it's like, no, I'm going to reject it. Or eventually, if somebody gives you lots of compliments, like, what's wrong with you? Right?
Yeah.
And then you think that the person's being sarcastic. So you're literally twisting the reality to fit whatever you believe is. So it's really, really fascinating. So the way that you will you actually analyze the whole life. Because anything that happens after the age of 7 is what we call confirmation bias. Okay, so it's just simply confirming. So if something happened when you were 15, okay, the code already happened at the beginning, but it's just confirming it. Yeah. So once you know what each experience, what sort of codes are relevant to it, you can recode it. And the way you recode it, you do it through self-hypnosis. It's the only thing that's going to bypass the conscious mind.
So that's actually another question I would have had. Yeah. So how when does that happen? And also for you yourself, then back to that example with being wealthy means I cannot have true friends. So you kind of resolve that through self-hypnosis.
Yeah. So what you do is just simply rewrite the code. So you think, okay.
Simply rewrite the code.
Yeah, that's it.
Okay.
Because when you think about it, okay, so So subconscious job is to create a reality for you, everything that you're experiencing in life, to realign with your belief.
Yes.
Right? So if there is something that you're seeing that's not quite what you want to see, there is a code that's bringing it in.
Yeah.
Okay. Once you find that code, say, okay, this is the belief, current belief. What do I need to believe in order to have something different coming in?
So with your example, then you became aware that I have this belief of being wealthy means I have no true friends. So you went into, okay, let me see that I can have true friends. Yeah.
So, wealthy people have awesome friends.
To kind of change the filter through which or the lens you look at things.
Correct. So, and that is, usually if you try, because a lot of people talk about affirmations. Yeah. These are my pet hates, right? And the reason why is, first of all, if you say affirmation during the day, a lot of affirmations, by the way that are worded are actually... subconscious works on a different language, so it's often misunderstood by the subconscious mind, and it gives you results that you're not looking for. But on top of that, if you repeat something over and over again, first of all, the little person in your head will go, that's not true, right? Because it doesn't align with the subconscious mind. So you're just going to have an argument in your head, right? So that's one. But secondly, if you repeat something over and over again, even if it gets into the subconscious mind, because you're repeating it again, subconscious gets confused. It's like, we've installed this. Do you want me to uninstall it and reinstall it, uninstall it? Right? Do you know what I mean? It's like, perfect example. If somebody says, I am on a healing journey, right?
Yeah.
I'm healing.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
you hear it all the time,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah,
Especially in
yeah.
the spiritual world.
Uh-huh.
If you're healing, you're actually asking subconscious mind for a process of healing. So subconscious will be like, okay, I can bring you this, you can heal from that. I can bring you this, you can heal from that. I can bring you this.
I see what you're saying. Mm-hmm.
That's it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, in a business world, you write a CV and you say, you know, I'm a problem solver.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm resilient. I am, you know, all these things that people are looking for in management. You call yourself a problem solver. Guess what the subconscious is going to be bringing you to make it right? Yeah.
Mm.
If you think of yourself as resilient, when you're riding that bicycle, it's always going to be against the wind because it needs to realign with who you believe that you are. Right?
So fascinating. It is fascinating.
So just really being able to analyze everything that you do in your life and you know, what have been the things that have not quite worked? Is it something in relationship that has been repeating itself that's not quite there?
Mm-hmm. Especially
it's a
these
blueprint.
moments. Mm-hmm.
It's a blueprint in the subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
You know, are you not as wealthy as you wish you were? That's in the subconscious mind. It's not coincidence. It's not that you haven't worked hard enough. It's just simply you reach the limit and you get a thermostat in your subconscious mind. Mm-hmm. And even if you go out of that, you'll come back again. It's like a thermostat, right?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. And I think we all know that. I mean, personally, I can say, right, I know that when you feel like, here I am again, wasn't that about more or less, isn't that more or less the same that happened already then? And do I really want this to happen again or not?
That's it.
Can you ever switch that off, you know, in your mind? I can imagine, I mean, analyzing constantly for yourself, but then also working with people who do that. Does it become tiring / overwhelming at times? Or
for me?
Yeah.
Oh, I love it. I love it. I mean, just, you know, if I know that, let's say there is a tiny little code that I can pick up that you have in your subconscious mind and I can change it for you. I mean, that's just beautiful, right? Mm-hmm. It's just beautiful because little thing like that, I mean, just think about it. You know, if you're playing a computer and it just keeps on crashing and crashing or something and somebody comes in and goes, oh, no, all you have to do is just do this, ta-da, it works, right? How cool is that? So having that ability, and that's why I've got a coaching academy and I train coaches how to look at the mind like a computer program and just really assess it. And I've created technology that actually, rather than trying to put the 16 years of experience and the learnings that I have done onto, you know, people that I train, I just create a technology where it's literally just inputting, okay, these are the problems, and it actually spits out the code, reverse code. It actually gives the coaches reverse code. So when they're dealing with a client, they don't have to be learning everything from scratch. They just simply reapply. It's really cool. Wow. Just simple, easy, and fun.
Oh, I see the emotion in there. It's beautiful.
Yeah.
So, it is giving us, I'm just feeling like I'm staying here and enjoying this moment because it's powerful just talking about it without it, you know, without you doing your magic right now. Right now. Of course, I could go into things that I believe should be busted from my subconscious, but moving on to recodes that you said that would come out from what you have developed. What does the person then do with that? Because obviously it's not about affirming it on the conscious level, right? And telling myself again and again, well, you can, or is it, how do I need to envision that?
Do you know, so it's, if I could just sort of simplify it into a metaphor, you know, if you just swim through the experiences of life, right? Just see if you ever snorkeled, you know, when you're snorkeling and you're looking at fish. So there's one book that I'm just finishing writing, and I try to use extremely simple metaphors because I think that if you take something so complex as quantum physics and you can explain it to 8-year-olds, you're on a winner, right? But with this one, it's just simply, you know, the ability, so any stresses and any anxieties that we have come from the mind not working properly and my mind trying to predict things. Okay, so it goes into future tense and you get into anxieties. Anything to do with future, mind hasn't been designed to predict.
Yeah.
The mind hasn't been designed to keep on going into the past all the time. But if you get stuck into the past, it goes into depression. Okay, so the ability of recode, whatever drags it into different tenses and just be able to be present in present tense. It's like, like the soul is literally looking through the goggles and going, nice experiences, nice fish, right?
Yeah.
So being able to be present. So at any stage and any experiences that you have that tense your body, where you know that it's literally triggering you. So sometimes, I mean, people get triggered and they yell and things like that. That's very obvious, yeah?
Yeah.
But a lot of people who are, more gentle or have, the people-pleasing qualities, they won't say anything.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But they feel it in their body.
What you're saying. Yeah.
That's it. They feel it in their body, right? That it doesn't feel right.
Very true.
So the second you recognize that you have that feeling, just realize that it's a code that's bringing this experience in. And by simply recoding whatever it is that's making this experience a negative experience, because all our experiences around, they're neutral. It's like if you think of life, I seriously think of life as a virtual reality game. That souls just literally came on planet Earth to play, right? And it's like playing a virtual reality game. So any experiences that you're experiencing that you see as negative, what I call in this book, I call it the ugly fish, pops up and it's like, oh, it scares you. All it's really doing is just a messenger to divert you back into your flow of life. So so from that metaphor, you're swimming underwater and you have the pretty fish, right? You sort of go, wow, all these experiences. And if you're present, you see lots of opportunities, right?
Yeah.
But the one that you follow is the one that soul tells you to follow, which means you feel it in your heart. It's like, oh, that's an exciting fish. I want to follow that. Follow it to the best of your ability, okay? But occasionally, if you're not in the flow of life, sometimes when you're doing work that you don't really enjoy and it's like it's a drag, it's not easy, it's not simple, it's not fun, it's just hard work, okay? The bicycle's going up the hill against the wind. All it is just universe tapping you and saying, not this way, just keep going. Right? And often with overachievers, we are not attuned to them because we are powering through. So you might have this, nudge in your life that's like, you need to slow down or you need to do something. Okay. The universe is telling you constantly, it's whispering in your ear, in your heart, right? But you're not listening to it because you got things to do, to-do list. You got to do this, you got to do this, you got to do this. You become human doing, right?
Yeah.
And eventually something will happen. Okay, the ugly fish comes in. So whether it will be losing a multi-million-dollar business, right? What I didn't realize is I was working in a masculine energy, which is very, very hard for a female, right? Female energy is actually very powerful. But a lot of women that go into business think that they have to be tough. Especially I was working with about 300 men.
Yeah.
So I was a ball breaker. I was like, got to be tough. I got to be, So... But it was very destructive, and I didn't realize that, destructive to your health, destructive to the way that you are showing up in the world, and it's not authentic to you. So being able to recognize that, when sometimes the universe gives you gifts wrapped in a very ugly box, right?
Yes.
And I have had incidences like this in my life, but from that time onwards, when I've learned all these things, anytime that there's what seems like an ugly fish that shows up, recognize it in that moment that it's not. It's just quantum jumping you into a different reality that's more aligned with your flow. I mean, I had, so we're talking about losing money. I've had incident where I was doing some fun stuff. I do photography as a hobby, and I did this huge collaboration with horses, models. It was just so much fun. But I could feel that towards the end of it, it was just getting hard. Okay, hard as in things weren't just quite working out so easily. And it's the universe telling you, not in the flow, right? But I wasn't listening because I had commitments. I've already promised. So as it happened, I fell off a massive Frisian horse at full gallop. I almost died. But the second I was falling, like the horse just literally stood up and then went into full gallop. And I'm a good rider, but I've lost my footing and stirrup, and I literally slid off under the hoofs. But what's interesting is when it was happening, it's like I knew. It's almost like this something, I don't know, universe, God, said into my ear, just relax. Quantum jumping, right? And it's literally, I've just hit the ground, totally relaxed. And I couldn't walk for 4 months after that, but I didn't die. I was a 800 kilogram horse. So it was massive. If that, I mean, I've got it on video on slow motion, and the hoof was literally next to my face. But the thing is, the second I opened my eyes and I knew I was still alive, I'm like, okay, just relax. Just relax, just breathe. Okay, it's just simply aligning you into different, just different reality. Just go with it. Just flow with it. Right? It's not an ugly fish. It's a messenger that's shifting you.
Wow.
And as it happened, the 4 months that I had off and I couldn't walk and I had work commitments that I couldn't go to, gave me time out, which I needed. And I happened to write a book. Because I was like, I've got all these things going in my life, let me just put it down on paper. And I wrote a book. And I'm not a writer. Well, I wasn't a writer. And I was just writing and writing and writing and writing. I'm like, it's a book. I published it and became a bestseller within 6 months. And that actually started a new journey in my life where Quantum Mind Academy was born. Because from the book, initially I go, oh, it's just a book. Well, just publish it. Knew nothing about publishing, self-published. And yeah, within 6 months, I had so many phone calls and messages and emails, and people were like, so how do I do this again? And I'm like, that's page 68. How do I do that? And then we go into lockdown, okay? Another ugly box gift, right?
Yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm stuck here now. How do you do this Zoom thing again? So I started playing with Zoom, and before you know, I had thousands of clients around the world on Zoom. Started trainings on Zoom, and I couldn't keep up with that. So I started training coaches, and now the company's getting bigger and bigger and bigger.
Wow.
And so that's from a health perspective. Then comes the relationship. I was in a 28-year marriage, and January this year, found out my husband was having an affair. I'm like, okay, breathe. Quantum jumping here. Okay, which means the universe is just bringing you another gift. It looks like shit right now. It looks wrapped in a really bad box, but it's a gift. Just trust that whatever you're getting, it's a gift. It looks like an ugly fish. Reframe how you see it. Okay, all it's simply saying is there are opportunities that you're not seeing. Okay, and all you have to do is just look around and go, okay, what is the opportunity? What is this? This beautiful marriage that I had that came to an end. What is that? What wasn't it allowing me to do? What can I do now? And just simply, so I've actually right now, I'm coming to the end of my sabbatical. So I've been traveling for the last 3 months, just simply going into total surrender. Just simply surrender to whatever's showing up or whatever it is that, the soul wants to create, and just relaxing into it. So, when you talk about firsts, one of the games that I'm playing is, what wouldn't Anna do today? Right? Somebody asks us to go and do this. It's like normal response, no, thank you. But what wouldn't Anna do today? Let's try it. Let's try something new. So, right now with the business, we expanding our retreats, and it's all about the art of reinventing yourself. But start always. The first thing that you got to do is recode. Okay, because who you're becoming is not the same person that you were before. What does the new you require to just be free, just relaxed into life, and just trusting that whatever's showing up, it's showing up for you. So just going with the flow and just having beautiful, beautiful experience. One after, my daughter joined me for a month of travel, and we rented a car, and I said to her, what do you want to do? And she says, can we see as many countries as possible? I'm like, yeah, sure, honey. Let me rent a car. So we were driving, and, we played this game. They're both my daughters are really into this work as well. And anytime, like, you look for magic, kids find magic all the time because they look for it.
Yes.
Adults stop looking for it, right? So start looking for magic. So constantly magic moments. And we have this little thing that we do. It's like when something really cool happens, you say, wow, this is beautiful. Thank you. Well, this trip could not possibly get any better. Could it? Right? And it's almost like a wink to your universe. It's like, surprise me again. I'm loving this. And it's literally magic moments after magic moment after. It's just been beautiful. And it's the expansion that's just taking, it's incredible. And you just simply set intention of, these are kind of the things that I'd love to experience, but just no attachment to it. It's like, I know that whatever it is, the goal setting, the typical goal setting is so restrictive. Like, if you allow the universe to actually help you with creation, you just simply say, I'd love to play with that. I'm just going to relax, let your soul do the work. to relax the mind. So I'm not going to create it with my mind. I'm just going to allow the soul to play through me.
Oh, that's so beautiful.
And you do you.
You do you. Oh, I love that. and also the playfulness that you're bringing in now also, it's so important, right? To I think it goes exactly in what you've been talking about, moving out of that conscious mind into more, you also call it soul. I love the energy. I love the emotion I see in you. And I know we could go on for much longer and we should find the time. Thank you so much for being here today, Anna.
Very
and spreading
welcome.
your wisdom and the insights into the subconscious.
You're very welcome.
Very inspirational. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thanks, everyone. If you liked today's episode, it would mean the world to us if you like it. Share it with friends, family, or anyone that could need a boost in courage. We would also love to hear from you. What are your reflections, maybe in the conscious mind? How will you playfully approach life from now on? In any case, let's keep creating healthy, functional first times together. And I'll see you next first time. Until then, much love and courage. Ciao.